Ladies and gentlemen, gold price is currently going up and up and up. But I saw an article that says that gold will eventually and inevitably hit 30 to $50,000 an ounce. When I saw that number, I almost fell off my chair. But here the person who made this prediction, and he's a big gold expert and a big gold bull. So let's hear this out and see whether you believe or not believe this person. So I saw this article that says that gold price is heading 10 times higher, and that's inevitable, says Thomas Kaplan. And he's a very big gold bull, and I think it's worthwhile taking a look at why he say that gold price will go up by 10 over times. So the prediction that he made actually shocked the gold market, that gold will rise by 10 times, and the target that he said will be 30 to $50,000 US dollars per ounce. And he actually used the phrase inevitable. But frankly speaking, he did not give a time frame, and we all should take a look at this with a very curious but also be a critical eyesight. So Thomas Kaplan is not just any Tom, Dick, and Harry. He's a proven deal maker, especially in the minerals and primary products field. And he's the chairman of Global Resource Investment, chairman of a gold, major gold development company, and of course, a billionaire as well. So, of course, we take a look at why he say all those crazy prediction. Now, why does Kaplan believe that gold will explode? Well, he provided five reasons why prices will explode. Number one is that there is a sovereign debt crisis, and the US debt has just crossed $40 trillion, and it's climbing and climbing and climbing. So when I look at that, I was like, wow, that's quite serious. And we all know that this debt problem cannot be sustained, and at some point in time will cause a big chaos. So as a result, fiat currency began to lose their purchasing power, and eventually, once fiat currency lose their trust and faith, and the fallback clearly will be on precious metal such as gold, silver, and so on. Now, the central banks are not blind to this. So the central banks across the world are accumulating gold at a record pace. And something good about gold is that it is finite. It cannot be printed, but dollars can be printed and be printed non-stop. So eventually, when the investors and the financial market lose their faith in fiat system, the fallback clearly will be on gold. So he believed that gold appreciation will be inevitable. So that's his reasoning. Now, one big caveat is that he never said when. Now, of course, if you say 100 years later, of course, it's possible, right? So is it 5 years later, 10, 15, 20? Well, this is something I think even he cannot make a prediction, but he does foresee that such a possibility is there. So let's take a look at his prediction and let's stress test it from the current price of about $4,600 per ounce to reach 10 times. And let's say the time frame is 5 years. It requires compound annual growth rate of close to 58 and to 60% a year, non-stop. Is that possible? Well, it did happen in 2025, probably a 1 year jump or so, but I don't think we can sustain that kind of growth in for 5 years. So maybe we taper off that by halving that to 26%. If you get a 26% yearly growth, then this will clearly bring you to a $50,000 kind of price range per ounce, and that will be a 10-year time frame. And maybe at the extreme, let's say we stretch it to 30 years, that'll be 8%, 40 years, that'll be 6%. So the answer is matter of time, not so much whether it will or will not. So I think it is an inevitable price range to reach 40, $50,000 per ounce. But the question is when. And time frame, of course, is everything, right? So you can make a prediction but never state never said when, and then that's a different thing altogether. Can gold price really hit $50,000 per ounce from what it is today? which is just 10% of that, well, you basically need a dollar crisis. Okay. And is a dollar crisis possible? Yes. And it's actually getting more and more possible because the trust in the monetary system, the trust in the fiscal prudence of US and basically across the world as well, not just US. Japan is having a tremendous debt crisis as well. And many countries like UK and many countries in EU are all having debt crisis. So as the debt crisis increases, gold being the alternative is very likely. So let's take a look at something more realistic to what it is today. So January this year, gold hit an all-time high of $5,600 or so. It's an all-time high. And then there was a severe correction all the way down to $4,000. So around then, I make several videos telling everybody that gold is predicted to recover as predicted by many of the analysts. And I think many of you took action on that. And right now, today actually, I actually saw the gold prices nearly hit 4,600 points. So it is a jump from 4,000 points to 4,600 points. And right now, I think we can safely say that recovery is on the way. Now, the question really is, of course, what will it be by the end of this year and by next year? Just to be very clear, gold prices is not having a bull run. Gold prices is making a recovery or what they call a repair work. So the rally has already happened, 2025 all the way to January 2026. Then Trump launched the crazy Iran war, and as a result, the gold prices crashed. But today we are seeing recovery work. So this kind of recovery work basically also means that it is clearly possible for gold price to recover back to $5,500, and the further extension to $50,000 is of course a different conversation altogether. Now, why is gold prices recovering? Well, the main reason is that the US Treasury has done some bonds buyback, and that pressed the bond prices down. And also, they also highlighted certain risk of the US Treasury being a bit shaky about things. So people start to lose faith. And as a result, US dollar will weaken and clearly gold will be alternative. And the central banks across the world are all buying gold at an unprecedented pace. And of course, with all this uncertainty, gold will certainly be the flight to safety. So, taking a relook at where analysts and the banks think where gold prices will go, let me give a few highlights. Number one, Goldman Sachs says that they believe they will hit 4,009 points soon. UBS thinks that it will be 4,006 by end of this year. I think it was already here just a few hours ago, but it also thinks that you hit 5,002 in 2027. Morgan Stanley, $5,000 in 2027, and so on, right? Most of the institutions think that recovery and regaining back to 5,000 points is within a 12 months to 24 months time horizon. Now, of course, no one believes that you'll be near Kaplan's range of 30 to $50,000, but that is something, a very extreme situation that will provoke that to happen. So in short, the analysts are forecasting 4,009 to 5,003, which is already a very good number for those who have bought earlier numbers when it was down. But Kaplan now is saying that is going to be 30,000, 50,000. So it's quite a big gap. I think the gap in between is this thing called time frame. Right, it's a matter of time frame. It's not a matter of will or will not. Now, what's the biggest risk to go? Well, the biggest risk to go is also what's happening right now. Bond yields are going up, and if bond yields are going up at a crazy pace, then people will say, "Why do I put money into gold where it doesn't yield anything?" So might as well swing over to bond yields. So it really go back to where people think if the yields are going to rise or fall. And of course, it's also dependent on interest rate as well. If the inflation problem were to spike again, then the Federal Reserve will be forced to increase interest rate. and that will crush the price of gold. And if the US dollar for some reason regain back its strength, then gold prices will start to fall and so on. So there is equally plausible reasons why gold prices could actually fall as well. But my base case is that I think gold prices will most likely recover all the way to 4,007 to 5,002. That's also validated as I run through this analysis with Claude and ChatGPT. But the possibility of a bigger bull to 5,200 to 5,600, it's possible within a 12 to 24 months under the circumstances that the recovery is go back to where gold prices were, which is 5,600. I think it's highly possible under a situation where there is no resurgence of inflation and the bond yields problem get contained at where they are. And I think it's highly possible. Now, in the extreme cases where the monetary system, uh, the faith in the monetary system gets shaken, then we may have an extreme case of gold prices going to the moon because everybody lose faith in the fiat system. Now, could there be a case where gold prices crash? Yes, back to $4,000 again. I think it's possible. Chances I think is low, but not impossible. So I think my base case still stays at 4,007 to 5,002 with variation to go to various at the extremes as well. Now, so if I were to critically analyze Kaplan's thesis that gold prices will increase by 10 times, I think it's possible. It will be an extreme situation, and it is really whether you believe that the world will start to lose faith in the fiat currency. And it doesn't, it could still reach that kind of price, but with a much longer time frame. So I think this is where the gap is always this thing called time frame. So the key takeaway of this is gold must reclaim 5,005 first. Okay, talk so big about 50,000. Let's how to learn how to walk before we learn how to run or fly. So I think gold must recover back to 5,005. If it recovers back to 5,000 or 5,005, it is really very good already, right? People will be sitting on 10 to 20% or even 30% kind of profits. And to debate whether it will go to bigger numbers such as 7,000 to $10,000, I think it would require some time and the economic environment must be suitable. Then hitting 30 to $50,000 will be a very extreme situation. So let me know what do you think, and I'll be happy to have some discussion with you in a live stream. Remember, hit subscribe because I will report to you all these things on a real-time basis. For those who said, "Wow, Mr. Lu, I missed the last goal bottoming out." Well, I did highlight to everybody, right? You need to hit subscribe so that you won't miss any of this exciting opportunity. Okay, so I'll see you tonight in a live stream. Bye bye.